Hello.
Hi. Hey there.
We are back with Philippi 4.
Philippi.
Chapter 4.
Yep.
Philippi chapter 4. With what I would say one of the most quoted verses in American
I can do
Christianity.
all things.
Verse 1, therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stay true to the Lord.
That's right. That's
Yes.
exactly
That's
right.
what I was thinking.
Wouldn't it
And
be great if that were the most
Yeah.
quoted?
You can do anything
Or
you want.
Now
with
I
the strength
appeal
of
to
Christ.
Euodia and... Anyway.
Yeah, tell this to Euodia and... What was you said the second name really well.
I have to look it up again.
Centige?
Centige.
Centige.
Something like that.
It is a really weird spelling.
It's S-I-N-T-E is how you're supposed to pronounce it. Centage. That's it.
Cintiage. Yeah, that's what it was.
Centage.
You kept saying that off the tongue so well. Cintiage.
Well, in my
Must be a
notes, I have the phonetic spelling to the right to help me.
Hey,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. That's called working smarter, not
Cintiage.
harder. Because I would have never known how
But
to
someone
say it.
asked me if I said it right. I was like, well, I'm saying it the way Google said it. So I don't know.
Or
Would the
the-
Greeks have said it this way? I don't know. But this is how Google
I
said
bet
it.
theirs has a little bit
The
of an
YouTube
accent.
guy.
Oh my gosh,
You know him? This is how you say
This is how you
these
say-
words.
He does like all the pronunciation.
Same voice
No,
every
I
time.
just did that. You know, you highlight it and then hit speech and it just says it.
Yeah.
Cintiage.
You trust AI too much.
That's exactly right. Hey, I can't wait to hear what God is laying on your heart.
It is true. Yeah, it is true that I'm
Oh,
trusting
but-
AI too much. Hey, and
That AI told you that?
well, I'm
Can't wait to
learning,
hear
by
what
the way,
God laid on
AI,
your heart.
I saw a guy say the other day, AI tends to give you maybe not a lie, but the answer towards the direction you want. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
We tested that with our new head coach. Remember
Yeah.
when I had you look that up? It said basically like,
That's how we got him was ChatGPT.
But
isn't
when I
Will
did
Stein
ask
one
it,
of the best quarterback like minds in football? And it was like, yes, he is one of the best. Here's a list of some other people that we would put in that category. But like really, he'd be probably like.
but then
20th
when I
that
went
list.
on it and just asked generally who is the best, it named a different guy.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury, baller.
Ah, good.
Anywho, so
Chapter 4. What about this one? Because you covered it all. You got
Dude.
all the bases.
Dude, it's crazy. So if you're not aware, I've learned that you can put your outline into ChatGPT and ask it, how long will this take? And it said at the end, which I thought was funny, with short illustrations, this would be about 37 minutes. With full illustrations, this would be about 46 minutes. And I was like,
Shoo.
well,
Short
if you know
illustrations
me,
it is.
short illustrations aren't normal.
100%.
So I was like, how am I going to get
one of
all
my
this?
favorite
how
parts
am I
is near
gonna
the
get
end
all
when
this?
you're like, all right, we got to get to this next part. We got to get through it.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of, but we'd already covered them
I'm
being
just kidding.
generous
Yes.
before.
That was like
we
that was
did
one of
kind
my
of, we
favorite
did
parts
kind of
like that.
zoom through that. What was it? 18 through
Yep.
14 through 18. That's what it was. Yeah.
Well,
It's-
also,
it's
as
about
letters
them.
go,
Huh?
usually that's conclusion, kind of like final
Yeah.
thoughts, like it's stuff you're recapping your emphasis, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that kind of tracks.
His thankfulness for their generosity doesn't read the way we would write it in the 21st century.
Really?
Like when you yet it was good for you to share my troubles. Moreover, as you Philippians know in the early days, and then earlier he says something about it like, here we go. I rejoice greatly in the Lord that at last you renewed your concern for my need. It sounds like you were kind of holding off and finally a check came. You know what I mean? Which is not his intent because they have really been good to him. That's what I'm saying. The way they wrote, it's kind of like that story where Jesus says, woman, it's not my time. We're like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the ladies in the room are like, smack that boy. So
He said what?
there's
Woman.
that difference in how they write versus where we are
Yes.
today. Because today we would never write, well, hey,
Yeah.
glad that you finally came through
time.
with your support.
Golly, I had to pry it out of you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we covered some of that before, their generosity. So I felt like we could kind of zip through that. He did kind of trash the people in Thessalonica, didn't he, though?
Yes, he did.
Because I was in Thessalonica.
Yes, he did.
No one helped me but you all.
Woo. Yeah, which is really interesting because wasn't Philippi like the city that chased him out?
The city did.
Yeah.
the Roman rulers, but the church there was strong. So what he's writing to is the church. But yes, after they beat him and jailed him,
I was going to say.
Then they wanted him to disappear quietly. He told him he was a Roman soldier, citizen. They freaked, and yes, they couldn't get him out of town.
This was the group of people that followed him all the way to Athens and Corinth.
Couldn't get him out of town fast enough.
All the way down the Greek coast.
Yeah. The other thing is Thessalonica is not far from Philippi,
No.
So sooner or later, this letter had to get, somebody in the Philippians church was like, hey, I'm going to let them Thessalonians see what he wrote.
That's
Paul,
like
Paul commended our church more than theirs.
It's like John writing that I ran faster than Peter.
Yes. Well,
one of us was slightly quicker than the other.
The one who Jesus loved ran faster than Peter.
Author prerogative.
Who do we accredit for writing the Torah? First 5 books about Moses. You know what it says in there?
What?
Moses was the most humble man that ever lived.
It does.
So how do you write that and be humble?
Moses,
right?
He
humble
said
man.
that to his scribe, and he's like, "I'm not writing it. You are." But
Write this.
Do you disagree?
Hey, buddy, write this.
But do you disagree? Do you disagree?
That's watch the Promised Land, and that'll add up perfectly.
It probably will. I need to watch it. But anyways, I was thrilled to get to that last line about Caesar's household, because if part of the emphasis of the book is Paul again stressing, bring in a figurative way, bring heaven to earth, push the gospel into this world, let it permeate into society, let it change people.
Yes.
Then, and even as we were just sitting here before we started filming, we were talking about, I don't know, maybe a tiny dose of disillusionment, that you spend so much time maybe preaching, teaching, working, and seldom get to see real transformation happen.
Yeah.
So to see that recorded in the end of this book, like, the people are sending their greetings, especially those from the household of Caesar. And when you think, in Caesar's household, they have to worship him as a god. I mean, all Roman citizens are supposed to, but they do in his household. And they have to say that salvation comes from Caesar because he ended wars and brought us peace. And so in a household where you live under the man god, basically, right? Yeah. In that household, you've become a believer. So when Paul writes that in the Philippians, it's like, okay, if you're having that day, because I was joking with Spencer that some days it feels like we're living in the movie Groundhog Day. You just get up, you just do it again, you just get up and do it again, Yeah. But on those days you're feeling that, maybe read that last line of Philippians. Like, even people in Caesar's household are believing.
Yeah.
So sometimes we may never see the fruit of our work, but the encouragement that it's still supposed to be pushing the gospel into the world.
I think the thing that stuck out to me most was the rejoice part. And I love when you took some time to hit on that. And the first part of your sermon was, it's one thing to find a bit of gratitude personally. But then when you said do I live? Do I show rejoicing? Yeah. And I just no, a lot of me and we all get so caught up in it. It's just there's so many problems. There's so many things we're thinking about, so many things that happened this week. And we typically, when we try and relate with people in conversations about how busy we are or how much this week stunk and stuff like that, it's almost like taboo, or also a sin to be I had a great week.
Yeah.
But even more so, it's why is it majority of our weeks that we describe, it's just negative? It's just, hey, this is what happened this week, and this, I'm going through this problem, or work is this, and it is so hard to rejoice, incredibly hard to rejoice, especially rejoice always.
When I looked up that rejoice really meant show joy, I was like, do I show joy? I will admit, I've already been told I don't always have that face. I have the opposite
Sure.
one.
Yeah.
My kids love to remind me that we were on a trip one time, and I went, why are y'all asking? Do I look mad? And they were all like, yes.
Yeah.
So
you're well, now I am.
Yeah. So, and you think about it, I mean, you've heard this indictment yourself.
Yep.
that Christians often don't look, they look like the most sour, unpleasant people there are.
Yep.
And I used to be in the restaurant world, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I've worked clubs and hotels and restaurants, and, you know, the Sunday church crowd never had a very good reputation, always cranky, you know, rude, in a hurry, and unpleasant. And, you know, you're like, these are the people who just came from church, and they're, you know, they're the first to complain if, like, the potato's not warm enough, you know, instead of just saying, can I get a new potato? So, like, do we show joy? And maybe it was a problem even in Paul's day, right? Maybe there's a propensity from the kingdom of darkness to just make us complainers, because, you know, in the same book, he told us not to grumble. Guilty.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it's... why? Like, when we say and I think that goes more into like the, yes, I became a Christian, but like, do I experience the Lord in my life? And part of that I do think comes from that rejoicing. Like, I follow Christianity, or I go to church, I do these things, but yet if I don't experience the things that we preach on stage, or even too, it's like as the church, like, it is one thing to walk through suffering. It is one thing to do that. But I mean, even for James and Paul to both hit on, like, even in the midst of my suffering, I'm peppy, I'm
joy.
up. Yeah. And it's just like, golly, like, what do I miss on a daily basis?
Yeah.
What do I miss on a weekly basis, where majority of my majority of my face, majority of my attitude is, it's another day. Or just simply being like, what if that changed? Like, what if it was a joy to wake up each morning?
Yeah.
And I think when I said that on stage, I was just like, hey, you know, let's spend some time in prayer and think of something that you're grateful for. And usually that is like something basic, like, oh, I'm grateful for it. And I'm like, no. Like, I was just sitting there while you were preaching. I was just like, what does it look like to find gratitude? But for me, like, finding gratitude's kind of begrudging, where it's just like, okay, I guess there's something
Let me
that
think
can
of
be.
something.
Yeah. Versus like, no, what happened in my week? What happened in my day that the Lord did something that I actually am grateful, that brings me joy?
Yeah.
Like, and if I can't find anything, that should be red flag number one, that, maybe I don't have my eyes set and my mind set on the Lord enough to where I can recognize when he does something and when he doesn't. But the moment where I was just like, don't just say something like you're grateful for waking up, unless you're at the stage of life where genuinely waking up is like one of the best things in the world. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
It didn't end last night.
I woke up today.
But, you know, you just said being in Christ. I think part of it, and I've wondered through the years, like, do some people think that we're just passing off a vaccination? That getting saved is like a vaccination from hell. Like, here you go, you got your shot, and if death happens and hell pops up, you're covered. But the rest of the time, just, you know, call yourself a Christian, go do life. And I don't think we really present it that way intentionally, but have we, when we've made just get them saved the end goal, rather than be in Christ and Christ in you? Like, live this real relationship. And I mean, I've told people before, I grew up in a Bible-believing Christian church, and we would say Christianity was a relationship, but we never really expounded that. Mm-hmm. You know, it was more of a phrase than a here's what it looks like, here's how you get there, here's what that means. Yep. And I'm sure I've been guilty of that too. I mean, I know I have. So I think the like over the top joyous people, when I was a kid, they annoyed me. You know, when someone would show up at church, I'd tell people this. Yeah. I can remember sitting at Southern Christian in the old building, you know, the dark wood, the pews. And this family came, visitors, and they sat over here on the left side. Nobody sits on the sides. There's these little sections. Nobody sits over there. They sit over there as like they're freaks to begin with. And they were just so happy and joyful. I was like, what is wrong with these people? Yeah. How are they sitting here so joyful? Yes. I'm sitting here thinking that God wants to dispose of me. I'm so bad. You know what I mean? And so when I was young, those Jesus people, the Jesus freaks, whatever, would just annoy me because they'd have so much joy. I'd be like, how do they, what is wrong with them? Don't they know they're horrible people and God's keeping a list of everything they've done wrong? So I know I've been on both sides of this walk, you know, but they're the joyful people, the ones that really are in it and get it. And like I said Sunday, the guy that came back and told me that he got it, man, it was night and day, his level of joy, because he got it.
But that is a human experience right there, because I have felt so much, and I think we all have felt that, of like, when you do get around somebody who has the joy of the Lord, why is anger and annoyance, like, what in our flesh is just like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like,
how can you be so
you're
happy?
annoying. And I have felt that so many times. But
Jealousy.
then, yeah, exactly. It's the hint and the underroot of like, don't you know that life is not a good thing? Or like, don't you know that life is not so, like, you're just supposed to put your head down and just suffer. Like, it's just
Groundhog
suffering.
Day, just do it over.
And then yet Paul's like, it is suffering, and I'm still as happy as can be because I'm suffering. And that just, I don't know, just points to me of like, do I know Jesus? Like, do I really know him, that no matter how much my day is, like, I actually experience what it's like to be around Jesus?
Yeah.
It's like, man, do I? I would say yes, but like, still those days
it
where
is
it's
a
like,
fight.
Yeah.
The conscious mind is a fight to stay focused on Christ in you and you in Christ, and this relationship, this kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of course, someone will come along and they'll tell you like, this tragedy happened, and you'll be like, well, in your mind as a minister, you'll be thinking, you know, I understand this, because in the scope of eternity, this is a tiny pin drop on an infinite line of timeline. So you'll never even remember it in heaven. But right now, of course, it seems overwhelming, and that's our preacher answer, right? So, but we tend to kind of drop out of our Christ in me mindset so quickly.
Yes.
Whatever it is, something impatient, some struggle, just the other day I was like, golly, I was thinking to myself, I was like, you are so impatient. I was driving somewhere recently, and I literally said, it was me alone. Okay, it was in Cincinnati. I could show you the road. And I said to myself, don't be a jerk. Just be a normal human today. Just drive this road like a normal human.
Dang. Yeah.
So, like, it's so fast.
Yes.
That's what shocks me, is how fast I can go from being, hey, this is the message, this is life in Christ, sharing with someone, talking with, our previous student pastor just dropped in, say hi to him, and then I can get out here and be like, I'm in a hurry, I got to get past this person, what is wrong with them? It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, it is, I think it's not rare, but like, truly, when life does not go the way we want, yes, those are moments, but it's just like the underlying, almost chronic discontentment that I think we all just buy into, and we all live into, because our culture is set up like that. Our culture is set up to be discontent, so that you'll go find contentment, whether it's getting the new latest iPhone or the next job that person had that you want. But I think part of the rejoicing always is battling it's chronic. I almost, like, that's just the best word. It's chronic. It's just this constant, overwhelming discontentment of where my life is and where my day is, that it's almost a shock when something goes right.
I think you're right. That is like the world's giant message.
Yes.
To make you constantly discontent. You need better. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You look in the mirror, you need to look better. You look at your stuff, somebody has better. Everything is to teach you to be discontent, so that you'll fall into their marketing mindset. Right. And man, you're not kidding. It is such a mental trap.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, what's the fix of that? Like what if you just started waking up each morning and just chose contentment?
Yeah. And
just chose to look at your life and the things that Jesus is doing, but then even more so, like, finding contentment in Christ. Like, what does that truly look like? Is that I get this feeling, or is that like, I just suddenly wake up and I'm happy or whatnot? But I think it's the choice of, one, you got to be aware of how discontent you are and what makes you discontent. And if you're not aware of that, then it's just going to...
Interesting you say that. Literally, I just saw Joe Rogan talking about Jelly Roll. And he was saying how that he went for a good period without any phone at all for his mental health, for his self, and it was like the best thing for him.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you just said, the world's saying you need the latest Samsung or the latest iPhone. We're not a sponsor. They're not sponsors, I mean. No. But,
yeah.
So, how funny. Here's, one of the largest podcasters in the world pointing out that this person's improvement in their mental health came from getting rid of a phone completely. When the world is telling you this is what you need, this is what you need, it's like, but we keep listening to that mantra, like, right. I'll get the latest phone, I'll get the latest clothes, I'll get the better car, I'll get, and it's almost always like empty when you get there.
Absolutely. It's the classic saying of like, no matter what, like, you're going to be discipled. It's just who's discipling you.
Yeah.
Is it going to be your phone? Is it going to be the world? Like, and no shot to anybody listening or you all either. Like if I look at my phone, the very first thing that starts my brain activity the second I wake up, like who starts my day?
Yeah. And
I had to put my phone in another room each morning and just, and I've seen like the last few months of just starting to wake up and just like, yeah, I'll get to it, but just wake up on your own with thoughts, like instead of immediate, like, okay, what I miss, what is not going right in my life, what is happening here, but just the ability to wake up just free and just have thoughts before anything else intrudes in that. Because I think just it is the unlimited, immense amount of distractions that cause that discontentment that we don't get to see where Christ is, what he's doing, what he wants to do, what he wants to say. I mean, like our prayer journey that we've been walking through, it's like just sit and be and let Christ do what he's going to do. And I've seen immense amounts of joy and love in that, but it comes at a big cost.
I was about to say, it's tough, isn't it?
Sitting with thoughts until they dissipate and then the Lord's there. And it's like, oh, you've been here the whole time. It just, I'm the issue kind of thing. But yeah.
Micah, what else? Anything else on Philippians 4?
You have any thoughts?
I like the contrast of rejoicing / joy, excuse me, with happiness. My soapbox for a long time now has been money does in fact buy happiness.
Come on now.
The problem is we don't always define happiness correctly. Happiness is circumstantial. It's fleeting. I always say I was a big midnight release for video games person in high school.
Yes.
So we'd go one year. We went
be lined up at
GameStop at like 4:00 after school.
Heck
Waited till midnight for Gears of War 2, I think. And
one
of our buddies' moms brought like Alfredo, like homemade, not like McDonald's. And so we're sitting there with like Tupperware and GameStop. The GameStop worker was cool. We were talking to him. Literally just like sitting in the corner, people going and buying stuff. Like, what are these dudes doing here? And it didn't matter because they did it based on receipt, but that doesn't matter. But my point was like, loved that game for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Made me so happy for 3 months.
Yeah.
So like you can't deny that money can buy happiness. Like a boat, I'd not make me happy, but I know people that boats buy make them happy.
Their second happiest day is the day they sell it.
Exactly. Until they can't afford it or they don't want to do it. Yeah. Or their kids graduate and they don't really like whatever. But joy is a contentment in something that always lasts and provides for you, and that's Jesus. And so I like the kind of definition that you presented of the definition of rejoicing is to show joy. It has nothing to do with happiness. Happiness can be a result from your understanding of joy. Like that could also then go, oh man, that makes me happy. I'm glad that that's the way it is. But you're not going to be happy in a trial and temptation, but you could still express joy.
But happiness is so silly. Yeah. I mean, you could go Chick-fil-A day and order the cookie and they give you 2 and you're like happy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I benefited. I beat the man or they were generous. Or,
circumstance.
Yeah.
It's in the circumstance. And once you eat the cookie and 20 minutes later,
it's gone.
After you have a drink or eat something else, the flavor's gone and it's like you never had the second cookie.
Yeah.
Which is how I count my calories. Like I never had it.
That's exactly.
I did hear a guy say money can buy happiness if you're using it to spend for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Then you will be happy. So if you're using your money to bless other people, then money can buy happiness.
I wouldn't even count that as happiness. I would call that like a fulfillment. You can feel like that fulfilling.
That's what he said.
Yeah. It just depends on how you define happiness. But
Yeah.
But
Good thoughts.
that is a much better
Plan.
/ description as we try to understand happiness. Like our default understanding of happiness is something much more important than it really is.
Yeah.
But it's good stuff.
All right. That's Philippians. We did it. All 4. We've got Christmas and then stepping into the new year.
Yes.
It's sweet. But Micah, send us out.
You are loved. There's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-mm.